the world's ending. At least, that's what everyone's saying.
This sky, I don't like it.
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth received yet another strong showing at the September 2023 PlayStation State of Play. We've seen quite a bit of gameplay since it was initially revealed, with the second installment of what is expected to be a trilogy going bigger than its predecessor. We can expect to see locations such as the Gold Saucer, meet new and familiar faces, and get stuck into plenty of mini-games as we venture around with Cloud and the gang one more. How closely it follows the story of the original and how far it will take us remains to be seen, but there's already plenty of speculation going around. With every extended look we get, there's something new to tuck into, and it already shaping up to be one of the most anticipated upcoming PS5 games of next year. The release date for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth has been confirmed for February 29, 2024. The announcement was revealed at PlayStation's September State of Play, when the release date was revealed alongside a brand new look at the game, confirming the return of Vincent as well as the Gold Saucer and all of its amazing mini-games. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth will only be available on the PlayStation 5. While Final Fantasy VII Remake did initially release on PS4, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth will skip the platform entirely as Square Enix focuses its efforts on the next generation of consoles. Square Enix has yet to confirm whether a Final Fantasy VII Rebirth PC release is in the works, but with Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate now available on Steam, there is a good chance that Rebirth will eventually make it there. The topic of whether Final Fantasy VII Remake will be released on Xbox platforms remains unanswered, but there is still hope. Final Fantasy VII Remake and its sequel, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, are currently PlayStation System exclusives. However, with the announcement that Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate has finally arrived on PC, the chances of an Xbox Series X version have increased. Coupled with the fact that Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion, a remaster of the FF7 prequel in the remake style, is coming to Xbox One and Xbox Series X later this year, Square Enix could be laying the groundwork for a future release of Remake Integrate on Microsoft platforms. We've gotten to see quite a bit of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth gameplay since it was first announced. With a look during Summer Game Fest 2023 and another helping of action shown off in the September 2023 State of Play showcase, we've seen Cloud and the gang walk through more open environments, as well as mini-games at the Gold Saucer, which you may know is a prominent location in the original game. The latest gameplay trailer showed off Cloud riding on a chocobo, taking part in some races, and even going around on a Segway. It's certainly evident that the second part of Final Fantasy VII will be upping the scale, with Square Enix revealed that we can expect nearly 100 hours of adventure in Rebirth. Yes, you heard it right, 100 hours of gameplay. The trailers have shown off Cloud fighting various creatures with Final Fantasy VII Remake's blend of real-time action and commands, but we've also seen glimpses of the other party members in action. As we've seen so far, it looks like we'll once again be fighting alongside Barret, Tifa, and Aerith, with the latest party addition Red 13 also joining the fray. Interestingly, director Naoki Hamaguchi stated in a recent PlayStation blog following the September 2023 State of Play event that Red 13 will offer something unique as a new type of character. In addition to an ATB gauge, Red is claimed to have a revenge gauge mechanic that charges up when he defends against enemy attacks. This gauge can then be used to activate various skills in battle. The blog also stated that new synergy moves will be included in the revised fighting system. These synergy commands and abilities can be utilized at any time by charging up a gauge, similar to limit breaks. As Hamaguchi adds, we'll be able to feel the relationships and bonds that have developed between characters even more so than in the previous game through these techniques. Rebirth will also include skill trees as a new feature of character growth, as well as more materia and abilities. The first Final Fantasy VII Rebirth trailer was only 1 minute and 34 seconds long, but it immediately got us excited. Cloud and Sephiroth stalk some familiar locations as the party advances out of Midgar and into the wider world in this short glimpse into what Square Enix has planned for Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2. Of course, the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth launch trailer revealed the improved graphic aesthetic, with Square Enix harnessing the capability of the PS5 for this new RPG adventure. If you've played both Final Fantasy VII from 1997 and Final Fantasy VII Remake from 2020, you'll realize that the narratives are vastly different. Square Enix took the foundation of the original and reinvented it for a new generation of gamers, so we don't know what twists and turns the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth plot will take. We do know that this will be a direct continuation of where Intergrade left off, with Cloud landing in Kalm and Zack entering the Sector 5 chapel in quest of Aerith before enabling the rest of the party to explore the world beyond Midgar. Additionally, creative director Tetsuya Nomura says you won't need to have played either Final Fantasy VII or Final Fantasy VII Remake to enjoy Part 2 of the adventure. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is being designed so that people can enjoy this game whether they know the original game or not. The most recent gameplay trailer shown at the Summer Game Fest also mentioned Sephiroth's survival after the battle in Part 1. The group is also informed about the livestream, which is the essence of the world and is linked to Sephiroth. There are also flashes of Tifa being attacked, as well as the appearance of the mysterious cloaked individuals. There are still many unanswered questions about the story, and the trailer simply adds to the confusion about whether it will follow the same plot as the original, or open the door to other narrative possibilities or timelines. Interestingly, the latest September State of Play 2023 trailer appears to suggest that it may well end on a very famous scene involving Aerith. The development of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is reported to have begun before the completion of Final Fantasy Remake for PS4 in 2020. Square Enix has since released the intermission DLC and the Final Fantasy Remake Intergrade for the PlayStation 5 and PC. 3 years may feel like a long time for all the fans who are eagerly awaiting the next game, but we want to offer the best experience possible and reassure everyone that development is proceeding at an astonishingly fast pace for such a large-scale HD title, says producer Yoshinori Kitase. Creative director Tetsuya Nomura had this to say regarding development on Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2. The development of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth has been progressing rapidly since we adopted a new development structure. A title of this scale, in which everything is interconnected even before production began, is truly rare. Game director Naoki Hamaguchi adds that development has already entered full production, and the team is highly motivated in putting everything together on the project and working to create a finished game. Square Enix announced that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is actually the middle chapter in a larger Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy of games. Producer Yoshinori Kitase had this to say about the decision to make the remake a trilogy. Making the middle part of a trilogy has its own challenges, but there are plenty of classic second installments in the world of film that are defined by stunning story twists and deeper explorations of their characters. Often these second installments become a favorite amongst the fans. In the same vein, we are aiming to make Final Fantasy VII Rebirth an even more gripping and memorable experience than Final Fantasy VII Remake. Furthermore, Tetsuya Nomura confirmed that some development has already begun on the third title, with the creative director adding that he has already started on the development and working towards the completion of the series. Nomura and his Square Enix teams are working with what he calls an interconnected development structure, which could hopefully mean that we don't have to wait 3 years after the release of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth to play the final installment. Players will not be able to import their saves from Final Fantasy VII Remake into Rebirth, although there will be a reward for those who played the previous game and its DLC. If you enjoy this video, please like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you won't miss out on future contents. Thank you so much for watching, and see you on the next one.